Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into a new edition of the Batter Up podcast, sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood here on the Sports Insanity Network. At the top of the lineup with you, the old ops guy, Danny Boy Reginald, Mike Rifke with you. Gentlemen, good morning. How are we?
There is no word that is describable for me right now. I'm just really good, but use the thesaurus and go anywhere you want with that.
But Dan, how are you?
Um, Thanks to the Golden Knights and the Hurricanes, I was up late um at work. So
Phenomenal hockey game.
yeah,
That was a
of course,
phenomenal hockey game.
of course, Mike Rifkin's gonna enjoy it, and I'm very happy for the hockey fan. I really am. Yeah, I was up pretty late because I had to do newscasts after that. So that
Double
wasn't.
overtime.
Um, but congrats to VGK, and you can thank Carolina for that dumb shit tipping. To its own goalie. Like how do you get an own goal like that? I'm sorry, like
You
that.
come back from 4-0, and it's a shot that hits the end boards off a Carolina player and then off the goalie skate. Oh,
I know we're going into baseball very quickly, but I got to ask Mike a question because when it comes to hockey, I'm not that good.
okay.
Has that ever happened before in the Stanley Cup before yesterday?
What do you mean?
A team tipping in their own goal.
I'm sure it probably has. Like, there's been pucks that hit a guy and go in.
Okay, no, I was just curious.
Yeah, I would.
You're
Yeah,
the big hockey guy, so that's why I asked.
yeah. I'd be almost positive that's
Okay.
happened. So, but yeah, phenomenal series there. That Dan and Mark will have you covered later on the other finals. And I don't mean the Australian or the French Open that's going on in tennis.
Mhm.
But by the way, Mark, when you started talking before when we went live, you started scratching yourself. I was going to start saying, did Summer teach you that when she goes to?
No, I am one of the most superstitious guys you'll ever meet. And since the beginning of the Cleveland series with the Knicks, I haven't shaved.
Yeah,
So
listen, I respect it. Respect it.
I'm going when the Knicks lose the game. If they lose a game, I mean, hey, we're going. But you'll get more on that at 1 o'clock. So tune in there. My face is just itchy, and I don't want to be sitting here scratching on live.
Yeah. I gotta get rid of the playoff beard. I'm seeing my dad this week, so like, you know.
Oh,
In any case, baseball, Mikey.
baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so something we didn't talk about last week, but I'm gonna actually start with this. So last week the Astros threw the first no hitter of the season, and we didn't recognize. So I apologize, but it was one of those combined no
Yeah,
hitters.
the dumb no hitters that no one cares about.
Okay, that's what I really wanted to get into. Are we okay with the combined no hitters, or do we view it differently as because how we view pitching now is very much changed?
It counts, Mark. It counts. Like you can't get no hit and not acknowledge it. Of course, you're going to acknowledge it. The problem is you have baseball purists like all of us who are like, well, a true no hitter is one pitcher going the distance and doing a complete game shutout without giving up a hit. That's the purist in us. But it doesn't mean that the combined no hitter doesn't count as a no hitter.
I am in total agree with them. Yeah, it counts as a team effort more than the traditional term no hitter. When Dan put up in quotation, it's the right way to say it. I mean, yes, it's a team effort, but when you watch one pitcher start from inning one and go all the way through and make it happen, that's the truth to the facts. So, yes, Does it count as a no-hitter? Do the Astros deserve recognition as a team? Yes. But does it need to be made? Oh, no.
I just wanted to see where we stood, so now I know. But so we'll dive in on other stuff, and I don't want to beat up Dan because I know he's tired. But the big news of the week comes from the Bronx, where Aaron Judge is going to be out. It looks like until August with this fractured rib. He will not get imaging. It looks like for 4 to 6 weeks. So Dan, I don't think you guys have done a Bombers banter, so I want your reaction to this.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the end of June. Billy Boy's kind of busy right now. But I will say this, since this is the first time I'm reacting to it since the news. Look, injuries happen. It sucks that it happens now because Aaron Judge is such a vital part to his team. If you really look at the face of it, the fact that he really hasn't gotten things going this season, the fact that he struggled a bit, and we find out he may have injured it in a game in April, like it you can now everything makes sense. Aaron Judge gets off to a slow start. He's batting 240. Like, this is very unlike Aaron Judge. And yet the reason why is because he's hurt. So devastating because the Yankees could use Judge. But at least now we know, hey, look, let's tackle this injury early. He's not going to play till mid-August. I would even wait till September. Like, to so that he gets the extensive rehab, especially since we're not going to know any other imaging for another few weeks. So Judge is sidelined. Am I worried? A little bit, but the Yankees have depth. It's actually one of the very few things that I'm actually giving Brian Cashman a lot of credit for. But everyone else got to step up. I have to see more from Jazz Chisholm. I have to see more for Trent Grisham. These young guys are coming up. Spencer Jones, he had an RBI on Friday, which is nice to see. Um, all the young kids that gotta do something. I need the some of the vets to get up. Bellinger, all of them have to do something and contribute while Judge is gone. Because if it's anything like 2023, which I don't think it will, because I think the Yankees are better than that team. But if it's anything like it, I mean, it can go south real quick. And that's not something that any Yankee fan would love to watch. Like, especially if you want in a playoff race and you get Judge at the right time, like, no, like we need to be in the playoff race. So it sucks for Aaron Judge. It really sucks. But it makes sense now. Well under par in terms of the hitting. And now we know it's because he had a broken rib that no one flagged until now. So it's like, you know, interesting stuff.
Mark?
Yeah. Dan has said it all. I'm going to just make it short and sweet. It's a huge loss for the Yankees. I mean, you're taking your everything. Your captain off the field, and you're losing a lot of power. So I agree with Dan's point that Bellinger, Chisholm, they all got to step up. Um, Here's my question. I'm going to throw back at Dan because Dan is really the one who's going to be talking about this with Bill. With the pinpoint now where the Yankees are the Yankees going to be buyers at the deadline? maybe to find a way to get another bat for to replace Judge. Sorry, I didn't finish.
I would think so. Um, but that would cost you some of your young players, which I don't think Brian Cashman wants to do. If anything, I don't think they go after the hitting. I think they go after the pitching more because we have to still beef up the bullpen, which has been a problem. It hasn't been too much of a problem of late, but it's been a problem all season. Um, in terms of a bat, I mean that's gonna be tough because you're gonna get Aaron Judge back eventually.
Right.
So I don't know if I want to spend on another big time bat.
Okay.
You're
Or
also going to
do
get Stanton back at some point.
yeah, so it's like, I think the Yankees should be okay in terms of the bats. I think they should be okay. The big thing's the pitching with the trade deadline.
Okay. I knew the perfect person to ask was
Uh,
sitting right here.
Listen, I think if they're going to upgrade a position player, they got to upgrade catcher. I mean, Austin Wells has been all year. He has
I
been
mean,
bad.
well, I mean, here's one thing they can do, and it's not conventional. You could put Ben Rice at catcher. Ben Rice, who rakes every fucking night. You could put him at catcher and then put Goldschmidt at first. Um, Not necessarily the most ideal because Ben Rice mostly plays first, but he is a catcher. That's the position that he grew up to be. So just an idea.
Mm.
Um, yeah, Austin Wells, not necessarily the best hitter right now, though a lot of these Yankee pitchers, I think they're pretty comfy with him
Mm.
behind the plate. So, I don't want to mess that up either.
Right.
But I mean, I get it. Like, if you're not, if there's no production. I mean, it's gonna be
You're
rough out
not
there.
getting anything out of
Like, like we're killing McMahon right now because he's one of the 6'8", 7", 6'7", 8", 9" hitters, McMahon, and gives nothing, absolutely nothing. You know, to a point where Yankee fans are actually okay with Volpe being at shortstop and Caballero playing third. And then, you platoon one or the other with Ahmed Rosario.
Met legend.
I mean, that's how poor the production at the bottom of the lineup has been. So,
I'm kind of surprised that Ryan McMahon has declined so much in 1 year. When he was with the Rockies, I'm not going to say he was a 350 hitter, but he was batting 270 without a problem.
mm,
Mind you, his home run numbers might have been inflated a little bit because we all know how the ball travels in Colorado, but still, I am completely shocked. I thought this was a great pickup for the Yankees, and it's
mm.
turned out to be not.
I mean they don't control him for very long. The part that I liked about the trade wasn't necessarily the hitting. It was more the defense and the fact that we had another year of his contract. Um, but now that that's out the window, like him struggling, it's making it more and more likely that we're gonna get rid of him. And stuff. I mean, I'm also shocked too. I know he was. I don't think he was highly touted more of his defense, but you're right, Mark. I mean, his hitting was actually pretty solid too. I mean, it's not something that we ignored or anything.
it. So, but I do want to hit on something you said, Dan, because unlike 2023 when Judge went down, there was a little big issues for the Yankees. I think they can withstand it because of something you brought up, and that's the starting pitching. Because
Mm,
the rotation now, a couple of times through with Garrett
mm,
Cole, Rodon,
mm.
Schlittler, they've been really good.
Yeah.
And
I know,
eventually they're going to get Max Fried back.
yeah, and I know Cole did not have a great outing the last time around, and that's okay. Like, you're not always gonna have good outings from pitchers. You gotta expect that. But night and day, having Cole in that rotation makes him so much better. He's the ball's coming out pretty quick, so I love this velocity. Um, his stuff is whenever his stuff is on point, like he has control. It's pretty nasty stuff. So I'm happy with the rotation. I like what I've seen out of Weathers. I liked what I've seen out of Will Warren too. I know he's probably going to be the short end of the stick because they have too many starters, unless they go six man, which I don't expect them to. But they have a good problem right now, the Yankees, which is the fact that they have so much good starting pitching. Um, that I'm very thrilled to watch. Of course, like I said, bullpen is more of a bigger issue than the starters because the starters actually go 5+, which is what we want to see.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. But Aaron Judge out until at least August. No imaging for at most 6 weeks. So we'll see what happens if the Yankees can withstand that. I do believe I don't know how close Stanton is to coming back either, though. But
I mean, I think he's swinging, but nothing crazy.
he may have pulled a hamstring doing that. We don't know. We don't know. Sorry, Giancarlo. All right, on to next. So last week we had a lot of conversation regarding the CBA. This past week, the MLB owners meetings took place in New York City. An article from ESPN and Jorge Castillo talking about four major takeaways from owners meetings. And I'm just going to go with the quick headlines and then we'll dive into everything. Now, I do want to note this because this is in the article. The next owners' meetings are scheduled for November, just days before the CBA expires on December 1st. So here are the four takeaways from the owners' meetings. According to Jorge Castillo, Rob Manfred has said all 30 teams are on board to split TV revenue. Yes, even the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Okay, that's a huge start.
All right, so let me read this off and then we'll get
Sorry.
into it. No, you're good. The Los Angeles Dodgers and other high revenue teams would surrender a competitive advantage under MLB's proposal, which would require them to share all of their local television revenue. They currently share 48%. The Dodgers' local media arrangement has been valued at roughly $8.35 billion over 25 years, making it one of the most lucrative deals in professional sports. The figure dwarfs the local media revenue generated by clubs that have been hit hard by the deterioration of the regional sports network model, and yet Manfred said he believes there is unanimous support for all 30 teams. He goes on, I think that the Dodgers understand there is a need to update the overall economic model in the industry and that the upside associated with that in terms of growing the industry, growing the popularity of the sport is big for large markets, small markets, owners and players in every way. That upside is bigger than any issue that separates us in the bargaining table. Now, just to reiterate, MLB needs only 23 votes to ratify CBA, but Manfred's assertion that all 30 clubs support the proposal suggests ownership believes the potential benefits of a revamped economic system outweigh the concerns of even the clubs with the most to lose. So now, Mark, you can go ahead.
Yeah, the splitting of revenue is very big. I figured that was going to be one of the harder things, but I'm glad to see that the owners know what is coming and what could happen. And this was going to be one of the biggest issues with the CBA, just got taken away. So that at least gives the Players Association some high-end lookout, meaning they're willing to work with us. They might actually be able to get this done. Here comes the big thing, and I know Mike will get into it. The term salary cap has been used. It has not been a welcomed idea by any player. Any player who's been asked, it said no salary cap. So that's going to be the biggest issue, I think. And we've said that before, but I'll throw it back to you, Mike. But that just splitting that revenue, huge for especially teams like the Royals, the Guardians, the Marlins. I'm picking low-ended teams, and not that the Guardians are a low-ended team, but they don't spend. I think the idea of having to make teams spend a certain amount of money per year, I like.
Okay, the second headline from Mr. Castillo from ESPN. The owners are not talking their like Rob Manfred talk. Dive in. Several owners and team presidents declined to comment on labor negotiations or avoided reporters altogether at this week's owners' meetings. It's the continuation of a recent pattern of having Rob Manfred speak for them at the meetings, which are held 3 times a year. For decades, owners held court with reporters there on a variety of topics. The number dwindled over the years, but it continued as recently as November of 2024, with Yankee owner Hal Steinberg taking questions from media members. Since then, with both sides bracing for a labor showdown, owners have largely ceded their public defense to Manfred, making the commissioner the face of ownership's campaign for a salary cap. So there you go. There's that word again, salary cap.
Yeah.
And now the owners are not afraid to make the commissioner the face of it.
The owners have wanted a salary cap for a long time.
Yep.
And it shows. Now, for folks like Juan Soto, and we've all seen his comments already, they're pissy about it because their argument is, well, baseball is already a massive revenue generator. It's doing great economically, ratings wise, doing amazing on TV. Like baseball's just in a great spot right now. Why is there need of a salary cap?
Well, I think the other thing is, and if we could go back, Mark, I think you'll agree with this. Remember the issues at hand when Steve Cohen was first purchasing the Mets, because owners were like, "Wait, hold on, we can't compete with Daddy Warbucks over here."
And that's a good point. You look at if you look at all the owners in Major League Baseball, maybe 1/5 can spend the money to build a team. I understand why they would want a salary cap because that would put it all on an even keel. But with all the contracts, and we're just going to name 3: Judge, Soto, and Tatis. I'm just naming those 3. Would have to be so restructured.
Or you're going to have to grandfather them in.
Which I would do.
And you have to grandfather everybody else. It's a mess. It's a mess. And, is there warrants for it? Yes. I don't think it ever will be accepted, though.
Yeah, it's one of the things that the players would never agree to, which is a shame because, you have all these owners up in arms about shared revenue, coming in. Like the fact that big markets, you have the Mets TV deal, you have the Yankee TV deal, the Dodger TV deal, which Mike said is the most lucrative and
Hmm.
Also, probably the most expensive too. Um, like the fact that they're willing to do any type of share revenue there should give the players uh the idea. Like it's like, hey man, like read the room. Like we want to move to this new model and we need the players to play ball with us. And the players are not going to play ball. And it could make or break the deal. Baseball cannot afford a lockout. So they need a few months to convince the players, hey, look, whatever you want to do, but this is the new way, and you're just gonna have to deal with it, you know?
So as we've been talking about this, I've been thinking because one of the big things that I think we're gonna have to look into potentially having baseball terminate. Now, obviously, the deals that are already signed are going to get grandfathered in this case. Maybe you have to eliminate those 10-plus year deals
Well,
because
I'm sure that'll be definitely a
I
topic.
think that's also something we're going to have to look into because they don't age well, obviously for the most part, but at the same time, what what singular year deal, and I don't mean singular as in 1 year deal, but 1 through 9, has there been a 9 year, $300 million contract? I don't think so.
Well, the closest would have been Aaron Judge, 8,400.
Hmm. Right. But Judge was already 30, probably, right? When he signed or near 30.
He was,
Yeah.
I think you're right, a third. He
Yeah.
was he
Yeah.
was 30 turning
But,
31, but he was 30 at the time.
right. But, we're talking those 10-year deals. So maybe that's something that the players and owners can talk about as well. That would also fix part of the salary structure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, the big thing here is making sure not only the big markets can compete. It's about, and look, obviously, we give credit to folks like the Rays and the Oakland A's, Sacramento A's, which we would call it. We give all these other small market teams that don't necessarily have the same money. We give them credit for building a ball club that they're willing to compete. But the trend, if you look at the trend, the last couple of World Series didn't feature those teams.
yeah.
If we're being honest, I know the Rays made it, but the Rays made it in a shortened season
Mhm.
that it was such a small sample size. Like anyone could have gone, like the Rays were in midseason form when they made the World Series. So it's like that to me is not a good indication as to the type of team that they built or anything. You know, I just think that the owners know it's time. The players know it's time. The players don't want it. And that's the big problem. That's where the disconnect is. They know it's time to have a salary cap, but one side wants it, the other side doesn't. And it's going to take them a long time. Like, if you can't come to an agreement, it's going to take them a long time. Like, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be anything. There's not going to be any happy negotiations going on right
No.
now. It's going to be very contentious.
And it's all going to surround that one topic. I think a lot of the other topics are going to be give and go, but
Mhm.
this is going to be the one topic we're going to be on for a
And
while.
and you have to understand, you know, the Yankees are still going to have more money. The Dodgers still going to have more money than any other team.
Right.
That's not going to change it. What will change is how much they spent.
Mhm.
And the Dodgers getting away with the bullshit. Oh, I'm going to have these deferred money and wait till later to pay these players. and I can just sign them to long-term deals. It's all that's just crazy. Like, that shit won't happen again.
Oh yeah. All right. So the next headline is something we've been hitting on. It's early, but owners and players are speaking a different language. Both sides seemingly agree that the disparity between high revenue and low revenue teams is worth addressing. Beyond that, they appear light years apart. Shout out Buzz Lightyear. The
Mhm.
union's initial proposal was expansive with revised definitions for revenue sharing within the current competitive balance tax system. It included not only the parameters for a soft top and floor, but it also addressed minimum salaries, free agency eligibility, the qualifying offer, the pre-arbitration bonus pool, draft lottery, and more. The owner's first offer called for a fundamental change to the sport's financial structure, but it covered little else besides a hard cap and floor with a 50-50 revenue split and the centralization of all television revenue that was by design. MLB views overhauling the system as imperative moving forward. Manfred says, quote, "We never thought about the CBT as revenue generating device. And when you see more and more tax getting paid, you realize that it is not the kind of speed bump that would help on the issue of competitive balance. A record 9 clubs were penalized for exceeding the CBT thresholds in 2024 and 25. Taxes totaled $78.5 million in 22, 222.8 million in 23, 311.3 million in 24, and 402.6 million in 25. And the Dodgers paid almost $170 million in luxury tax last season. On Monday, 2 days before Manfred addressed reporters, MLBPA interim executive director Bruce Meyer described the MLB's proposal as the worst system for any players in any major sport, and it's not even close. So here we are, months away, and they don't seem like anything is positive.
But you just said a key thing, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Months away. Right now, it's June. There's baseball for another 4 months. They have time
Next.
to try to get, like you said, try to get an understanding. It is going to be the hardest pitch, and yes, pun intended, that any head of who's speaking for MLB is going to have to make. But whoever does it is going to have to make it stick. But the key in the term of view was there's months. It's not like it's days. There's months to get this done, and there's a way to get it done. It's just getting the right person behind it.
You've got to be kidding. Well, the other thing is there's no next meeting scheduled yet, so you got to wait on that. So that's that.
I don't know. This is 2020 all over again. Like, get it. We said, oh well, they have months to figure it out. They can come to a short-term deal, and then we went through that whole negotiating period, 2020 to 2021, and we almost lost baseball.
Mhm.
Rob Manfred was smiling after he locked out the players. It's a disaster. They can't let this happen, especially with the momentum that they're getting. Like, baseball is in a good place right now.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is in a good place. Like, think about the star power in baseball
Isn't it great that finally we're getting star power in the playoffs
and
too?
young star power.
Yes.
Thank you.
But the other thing is now it's international is getting bigger. Baseball is not just an American sport, it's a world sport. It started with us. We're not going to deny that, but it's a world sport.
More than people think.
Yep.
All right. So next, Manny Machado had some interesting comments regarding analytics in baseball. This was from the Machado quote from uh, Friday night after the Padres game. Well, I just wish we could get the analytics out of the way. Why are we creating these stats? I think that's the problem with baseball right now. Close quote. All right, guys, are analytics ruining the game?
Go ahead, Dan.
No, it's not ruining the game. Um, but where I do agree with Manny here is the overuse of the analytics, especially by teams that don't need to overuse the analytics. Look, teams like the A's are going to overuse the sabermetrics because they have to. Right now, just coming back to the CBA and all that stuff, and the fact that that a salary cap doesn't exist and the A's don't have as much money as all these other teams, they do it out of necessity. So it's not ruining it because teams actually need to use it. But at the same time, there are teams that don't need to use it, that do overuse it, and they don't need to do it. The Padres don't need sabermetrics at all for small things,
Right.
but they have a perfectly good lineup that's very much competitive enough to make the playoffs. They don't need these big time, all these big time stats to dictate how you play your game. No, you got star power on that team.
I think Dan hit it on both sides. I think analytics, look, I think they have to be done. Some type of record is kept, whatever. And yes, I also think analytics have changed the game in which a player who has an amazing year, he lands a 9-year contract and then sucks throughout. Ringtone. Oh, excuse me. God, Linda. But here's the thing. Analytics should not be how it's determined you build a team. Analytics are used for one thing and really one thing only now. Let's be honest. Gambling. People use analytics for gambling on how they're gonna pick who's gonna hit a home run or who's gonna have a quality start. The players don't care. The fans do. So you have to let that one get flipped and just forget about it. You don't wanna you don't want it to be recognized and don't pay attention to it. That's how I say it. Analytics aren't going anywhere. They will be here to stay because it's needed for the fan reason.
Yeah, and you have all these front offices that have all these Ivy League mathematicians and all that stuff. So it's not going to go anywhere. But the overuse by some of these teams that don't need to use it is incredibly unnecessary and it's lame, it's dumb. And look, I get it. It's the new way of baseball, but sometimes it's all about feel for the game. Like, can we get back to using the managers using the gut to dictate how to manage? Can player and look, obviously the players are not at fault here. The players are going out there playing the game, you know. But that's not how front offices or managers see it.
Dan, I'm so happy you used the two words I love, and it's beautiful. Gut feel. I think where you're right. Front offices are so in love with these analytics that I do think they've gone overboard. I think they do it when it comes to free agency and trades they make because they. I always go back to the Moneyball scene with Jonah Hill sitting in the room with the scouts with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
We don't need one guy to replace Giambi. We take three guys to replace Giambi.
Yeah. The one started it all. I mean, if you really think about it, like this was a Sandy. This is a Sandy Alderson
Yeah,
thing. If you really think about it,
that's Sandy.
a
Shout out
lot of
Sandy.
a lot of the A's teams back in those 80s and 90s, before obviously the World Series team, which was built with massive star power. It was, oh crap, I gotta figure out how to build a team because I had nothing. Like Sandy created that. And
Yep.
of course, it just continued because Billy Beane was there and he, took it, Paul DePodesta, all those people. Um,
The other thing is you got to let the guys just go out and play. That's the part I want to get to because I look at a guy like Manny Machado, who I think we're all in agreement is a future Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Why do I care about Manny Machado's launch angle?
yeah.
Why do I care? Was he a freaking rocket? He's gonna launch. Like, I don't care about the swing.
Yeah,
If the ball goes, the ball goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Or if he hits it 10 miles faster than he did before, he'll have 90 home runs. What?
But by the way, here's something else that I don't think anyone takes away from. Think about the shifts in baseball. Like I know they quite tried to ban the shift, but we still see the shortstop behind second base.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
And my line all the time to my dad is, "That's a base hit back in your day." That's the line because those used to be hits. Now they're nothing. They're outs. That's the ridiculous part about this. So I don't think analytics are ruining the game. But to Dan's point, you have to have some gut feel, but also recognize that, hey, some of this is also rule changes that have taken place too. Oh, so. But thank you, Manny, for speaking from the heart.
Well, for players like him, it's probably not necessarily upsetting, but annoying. The fact that he's being used as a tool, which again, I get. Like, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but sometimes you just got to take risk. Putting the ball in play and making teams earn outs and earn hits and all that stuff.
Or you take a guy who could hit 40 homers a year, driving 120.
Yeah.
You sign a guy to a 2-year, $20 million contract while you let that guy go. The guy with the 2-year, $20 million contract never plays because he's got some Achilles injury. Now you get no run production out of first base. Oh, what's up, David Stearns? Moron.
Like you have to understand, Casey Stengel won 5 straight World Series without any of these information.
Right.
Joe Torre.
Without any of this
information. Joe Torre.
Like I don't know, man. Like the overuse of it's ridiculous. Is my point.
No, I'm with you. I think they've overloaded this on when it comes to the analytics. Some are good. Don't overload us with your numbers. We're not all geeks here. All right. I do want to make note of one thing, and then we'll get into the series for the week. Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies, 50 straight scoreless innings before he gave up a run in his last start. Was
Very,
named
not
pitcher
only
of the
very
month for that.
impressive, not only very impressive, but can you imagine in this day, maybe back in the 40s and the 50s, that could happen. This day, that's not a easy thing to achieve.
By the way, he didn't give up a run in the whole month. Jacob Mizorowski of the Brewers gave up one run the whole month of May. National League starting pitching is stupid good.
Mhm.
Some of these youngsters can really throw.
Mizorowski threw 103, I read yesterday in
Yeah.
Colorado.
And three.
I mean, dude, I'm telling you right now, the National League are the teams to beat. Just pointing it out there. And the fact that we're even talking about the Brewers again, like, what are we doing, bro?
Shout out Pat Murphy.
Yeah. No, Mizorowski's tremendous.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, the dude literally has the best stuff out there, arguably, obviously. And, he makes every hitter sweat.
Mizorowski versus Skeens at some point. Oof.
Well, we'll see that.
Mm.
You're gonna see a lot of things, but that's Paul Skeens. Look, nothing to take away from him, but he's having a little issue with one statistical thing that keeps coming up. I'm gonna have to go after Mike thing. Giving up a lot of home runs lately.
I, I think that's more the weather starting to get warmer. Those balls are carrying now.
I don't know. Look, he's still probably the top best pitcher in baseball, but he's not flawless.
Oh yeah. I mean, that National League, or they're going to have to make a decision come the All Star game, whether it's Christopher Sanchez, Mizorowski, Skeens, throw Chris Sale into this mix because
I
he's
was
been off
about to
to a
say you
great
got to throw
year.
Chris Sale. You got to
Oh,
figure McLean's going to be in on the mix.
well, I don't think he'll start the game, but yeah.
No, but I think that's possibly the only
Yeah.
Met that's going to go.
Or they could start the game with Mason Miller, the best closer in the game.
God.
All Star game month away, peeps. I think it's in Philly this year.
Let's all go. Road trip.
That should be a fun derby, Philadelphia. All right. On to the series for the week and the weekend. We got the Mariners and the Orioles in the American League. Mariners starting to roll a little bit. Orioles look like they're starting to turn it around.
Orioles have been hitting really well.
Yeah, especially the guy playing first base.
About to say your boy Pete, man. It's getting a lot.
Thanks,
The
David.
orange fluffy bear, as they call him there.
Yeah.
If only the Orioles had starting pitching, what could be?
Yeah. So the Mariners have it.
Oh, yeah, they do. They have arguably one of the best rotations in baseball. We got the Dodgers and the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Pirates over 500. Was hoping for Otani versus Skeens. Doesn't look like that's happening though.
No, I was looking at that during the week. That would have been a fun watch.
I would have been, yeah. Oh, the Yankees go to Cleveland.
And they got punked by the Guardians at the stadium. It's time to punk them in their own house. because the last thing I want to do is continue to lose to teams that are above 500, and then the Yankees are looking like frauds. Like that
Just want
doesn't.
to give a shout out to Cam Schittler.
Yeah.
What a storm he's brought
Hmm.
to the Yankees rotation. Didn't want him left out of any conversation. He has just been
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cam's great. But the Yankees have not played well against winning teams, which is a problem to me.
Here comes the boom.
Mm.
And then we get the Phillies and the Blue Jays in a rematch of the 93 World Series. Also, the ironic Don Mattingly was the bench coach in Toronto. He's now the interim manager of the Phillies. So,
It's a pretty even series to me. I think it'll go either way.
When is Donnie Baseball gonna get his interim tag taken off? I mean, it's over. Like he's the manager.
he may want to be one of those guys they give him year to year. I don't know what their decision's going to be.
It's over. In my ass. He's the manager.
He is the man. All right. And then next weekend, the Braves go to Citi Field, play the Mets. First time those two rivals play this year. The Padres go to Baltimore. Manny Machado returns to Baltimore. Not for the first time, but always special. Diamondbacks Reds next weekend. That's fun stuff.
I would like to see a race between Corbin Carroll and Deli Cruz.
Oh,
The two of them, just a straight race.
that'd be fun. Dan's Yankees will go to Toronto, play the Blue Jays next weekend, and the Phillies go to Milwaukee to play the Brew Crew.
Mhm.
So those are some series to watch for next week.
Mets Braves, the first time they face each other is in June.
Yep, Mets Braves first time there. Wait, Dan. Here's the best part for you. The Mets have had 4 West Coast trips before they play a division rival.
Isn't that insane? I mean, that's baseball's got to fix that because even the Yankees have faced their division already. Like,
Right.
you know,
It's scheduling. I'm sure a lot of other networks have pointed out the same thing, and I'm sure it'll be rectified come next year.
yeah,
Nothing you can do about it now. It is what it is.
yeah. Now, I'm assuming there's not going to be a lot of West Coast trips down the stretch of the season.
I think they have one more in the second half, but it's only a 2 series trip.
They don't have a game after last night. They have one series that'll start after 8 o'clock or something.
Interesting.
I like them at 7 o'clock. It makes it easier.
I'm with you. By the way, I don't care if you're East Coast, West Coast. A 10 p.m. start time on a Saturday night. That is
no.
just uncalled for.
No. I mean, and look, I know it's 7 o'clock over in the West Coast,
Right.
but that should be a 4 o'clock
7
there,
o'clock
7 o'clock
here, 4
here.
o'clock over there.
Like
Yes.
like it's Saturday. Damn it.
All right. Right, it's Saturday. All right, that'll do for this edition of the Batter Up Podcast, sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood here on the Sports Insanity Network. Like, comment, subscribe here to the YouTube page. Follow the socials. Facebook, the Sports Insanity Network, Twitter, S Insanity Real. Mark, you got anything on the dugout?
We're in a little bit of a holding pattern as we are holding our breath for the Francisco Lindor 101 to come back. If you haven't seen the card, please go to the website, as Mike called out, at www.thesportsinsidernetwork.com. Read the article on the Francisco Lindor top 75th anniversary 101 gold shimmer on card auto on its way is at PSA, and it will be on its way back very soon. We'll have a little bit of a show about it, and we'll give you the start time of when that's going up.
All right, again, scheduling. These guys will be live 1 o'clock today. Talk about the NBA Finals, where the other night something happened in the nick of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wemby threw it at the back of a guy who wasn't looking, and thank God.
Reminds me of another guy, War One, who threw a lot of interceptions. All right. For Mark, Dan, I'm Mike. We'll talk to you all again next week here on Batter Up, sponsored by the Dugout Millwood here on the Sports City Network. Have a good week, everybody.
Catch you on the flip side.